Hello guys, welcome to Hunt Fierce Now. I'm your host, Patrick. Now today I just want to do a quick review on the Easton Full Metal Jackets. Now, if any of you have hunted with the Easton Full Metal Jackets in the past or hunt with them now, you know that Easton really did their homework on this line of arrows. I mean, they are unbelievable. They penetrate like no other. Their small diameter allows you to have less wind drift. Like I said, allows you to penetrate the animal better. And to me, it allows the arrow to be a lot more accurate. Alright, so right here is the Easton Full Metal Jacket. You're probably thinking, wow, that's a pretty cool design. Well, I think so too. I love their design. They got the 2-inch blazer vanes. And like I said, guys, Easton really did their homework on these arrows. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to read some stats to you guys about these arrows so that I know for a fact that I'm not getting it wrong, and you all get the most accurate information that you can. Alright, so these arrows have a carbon nanotube core with a 7075 TB aluminum alloy metal jacket. Alright, so like I said, they have a carbon core, an inside tube of carbon with an outside layer of aluminum. Alright, now the straightness of these arrows is plus or minus 0.002. Alright, that's real minute, guys, so these arrows are pretty straight. Alright, now the weight tolerance out of a dozen arrows is plus or minus 5 grains. Alright, now that's out of a dozen arrows, guys. Think about it. Now the diameter of this arrow is 5 millimeters. Alright, now they have two other size arrows, which is a 4 millimeter and a 6 millimeter. The 6 millimeter is the newest full metal jacket that they came out with, and it's a little cheaper, but it's a full metal jacket, and I'm sure that it still has the same penetration power as these do. Alright, so they come in 4 different spines: a 300, a 340, a 400, and a 500 spine. Alright, so they have a spined arrow for pretty much everybody. Alright, now these arrows have something really cool in them that was new to me whenever I first started using these arrows, and it's called a hit insert. Now, for those of you that don't know, a hit insert is an insert that's actually inserted into the arrow. There's nothing sticking out of the arrow. Now, one of the good things about that is you have superior broadhead and field tip alignment. So whenever you screw your arrow onto your broadhead or to your field tip, you know that they're sitting flush against the arrow and that there's no cracks or they're not catty cornered one way or the other. So you know that if you're shooting and it's off, you know that that's not a reason. Alright, so another cool thing about that is that there's nothing sticking out here. So whenever you screw your field tip and broadhead on, I think it just looks really cool when the broadhead is just sitting flush up against the arrow. It kind of, whenever I first started shooting these arrows, they screwed a field tip on for me at the pro shop and showed me, and I kind of thought that they just pushed the field tip on. It was kind of weird, but I liked it, and they said, no, the insert is actually on the inside of the arrow. So it was new to me at the time, and I've actually grown to love it, guys. All right, so what else? Alright, well, that's all the stats. Alright, now, my likes and my dislikes about the arrow. My likes about the arrow, like I said earlier, is the small diameter. I'm real excited. I get real excited talking about this because before this arrow, I never shot a small diameter arrow like this. Alright, but I was kind of iffy at first. But after shooting them, I don't think I'll ever go back. Like I said, less wind drift. I don't have to worry about the wind affecting my shot as much. So whenever I'm up in the tree stand and it's a real windy day, I feel a lot more comfortable shooting this arrow than I have shooting other arrows in the past. Alright, and also the penetration. The reason that these arrows penetrate so much is, one of the reasons is the small diameter. I mean, you have less surface area, so when it hits, it just kind of slides right on in. I mean, whenever, alright, think about it this way, guys. If, alright, so if you was to take a needle and stick it in the wall. Alright, a wooden wall. You just take a little small needle and stick it through the wall, and then take a nail and try sticking it through the wall. There's a big difference because there's less surface area. The needle will slide in a lot easier than the nail will. Well, that's the same thing in arrows, guys. If you got a wider diameter arrow versus a smaller diameter arrow, the smaller diameter arrow is more than likely going to penetrate better due to less surface area. Alright, and another thing about these arrows is they are a little on the heavier side, guys. I mean, if you think about it, they have an inside layer or an inside core of carbon and an outside layer of aluminum. So it's two different materials. It's not just carbon and it's not just aluminum. So of course they're going to be a little heavier. This arrow with 100 grain broadhead with the 2-inch blazer vanes, the knock, the hit insert, plus the 10.2 grains per inch with the arrow. This arrow weighs 449 grains. Now I think the average hunter usually shoots like a 350 grain arrow or like 350 to 400 grain arrow. Well, this is actually 449 grains. You can pretty much say 450 grain arrow. So now the dislikes about this arrow is it's kind of both. Like and dislike is the weight, because I like the weight because of the penetration. Of course, more weight equals more kinetic energy. Well, depending on how fast your bow shoots and what poundage you're shooting, but most of the time, more weight, the more kinetic energy you get. So I do like that about it. I love that about it. Now the dislike about the weight is the loss in speed. Now I've always been a real big speed guy. I've always tried to get light arrows specifically for speed, and whenever I switched to this, I could tell a big difference about speed. But the first time I shot a whitetail, I was blown away. I mean, the whole thought of losing speed was kind of out the window, but just mainly on the penetration. So, I mean, you do lose speed, guys, but because of the small diameter, you gain in penetration. Alright, so that is the Easton Full Metal Jacket. The holy grail in arrows. To me. Now for some of you it might not be, but for me, it is. Well, alright guys, that's the Easton Full Metal Jacket, and I just want to throw out there that I'm not getting paid to promote this or anything like that. This is solely my opinion on these arrows, and I recommend anybody to go out and just purchase one of them, guys, and shoot them for a little while. I promise, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna love these arrows. Everybody I've talked to that's shot with these arrows in the past absolutely love them. So that's the Easton Full Metal Jacket. I want to thank y'all for watching, and stay tuned because next week I'm going to be posting a video on deer anatomy and just different characteristics about different deer. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe my videos, and I'll see y'all later.